Boy, do I hate the sound of traffic. I love friendly people like our neighbors, but I hate it when I'm out here communing with nature, enjoying my serenity, and they go by and they honk their horns. So, I'm putting in a privacy screen. These are Leland cypress trees. As you can tell, we have a row of red cedars right in front of it. You can use either, but we're using Leland cypresses as a secondary privacy screen, which will become our primary privacy screen much quicker than the red cedars because they grow faster. These Leland cypress trees will grow to about 12 feet in about 4 years. In about 8 years, they'll be close to 20 feet. Whereas these red cedar trees, after 8-10 years, they're only going to be 9 or 10 feet. So they're not going to provide quite the privacy that the Leland cypresses will as quickly. So we want to point a couple things out to you in this video. When it comes to building your privacy hedge, you've chosen which type of tree or bush you want to use. Before you start digging holes and putting them in the ground, make sure you've got them lined up exactly where you want them, and make sure you go through and you do determine and decide that's how you want it, because once you start digging and put them in the ground, you don't want to have to redig them and replant them. That's just a hassle. So I'm going to point out a couple things to you as far as how to actually plant them. I know it sounds simple, but there's a couple things that you need to pay attention to. Then I'm going to tell you how you can get a bunch of Leland cypresses like we did for a very cheap price. Okay, that's determinant upon the time of year and where you get them. But number two, we're going to show you how you can actually grow your own so you don't have to spend any money if you have the patience and you're willing to put up with a little bit more time. So if you'll come up here, what you'll notice is these are exactly where I want them. So I'm going to dig my hole, and I want my hole to be about the exact same size. I want it to be the exact same size as the pot that the plant is in. So I've kind of marked where it was with my shovel. We have really fertile soil here. There's like no rocks. It's wonderful, no roots. Our property was part of a farm, goes back centuries here in Central Virginia. So once upon a time there were rocks and roots, but they were taken out. There goes another tree. Ah, another tree. There went another car. But it's another reason why we're planting these trees. So now, you simply take this out of the pot. These come out pretty easily. Okay, you want to make sure that the ground surface is level with the potting soil surface in the base of the tree. Get a good shot of this down here, honey, so they can see. Now, that's perfect. I don't need to dig this hole any deeper. And this is because I've planted, if you can look behind us here, hundreds and hundreds of trees. I've been doing this for a couple of years. People probably think I have like OCD or something, and my obsession is trees. It's really not. We just want a beautiful forest down out front here. Most of these are autumn blaze maples, so in the fall there's going to be all these beautiful orange and red leaves. But you want this to be level, because if you plant the tree too deep, it'll actually, or if you were to bury this part of the trunk, this will rot and decay and your tree will die. So if you dig your hole too deep, make sure to fill it in with some dirt before you plant it. And if it's setting up too high, that's not really that bad. You can mound your dirt up around it. Or you could dig your hole a little bit deeper. But it's March 1 right now, and there's no sun, and it's actually raining a little bit. So root exposure is not that big of a deal. But if you're doing this later in the year, when the temperatures are warmer, and let's say there's direct sunlight, you want to get these buried in the ground quickly. You don't want to expose those roots to the elements any longer than they need to be. Something I wanted to point out about those red cedars is they look kind of like they look dead. They're not dead, they're dormant. In the winter, red cedars will turn like a bluish hue, bluish red hue, and it's more noticeable the younger the tree. So these trees are just a few years old, and we transplanted these from our wood line over there and from our forest up there. The bigger the tree, the larger, the more mature the tree. Honey, give them a shot of that big red cedar right there behind you. Get high so they can see everything.
Yep.
You see, it's still off-colored, but not as drastically. Well, in 3 years, we won't be able to hear these cars. Okay? So don't worry if you do transplant or plant red cedars and they turn that color in the winter. Don't worry, that's natural. Okay, now, I have this planted down, patted down. I'm done. I'll dispose of this later. Now, here's a couple other things I want to point out to you. we are not promoting this product. This is called I Must Garden Deer Repellent. I'm not receiving any extra pay from this company. I'm telling you this because this works and I want to help you. That's part of why we do these videos. We have a lot of deer where we live. My wife and son saw 22 in the yard one day. So we have not known for the deer to eat the Leyland cypresses, and since it's March, the bucks have lost their antlers. But when rut comes back in the late fall, early winter, you know, that's when the bucks will go around and they'll start scratching up the trees to mark their territory. And even before that, they rub the trees to get the velvet off. We use deer repellent on these if we put anything out this time of year, so that the deer will become trained to stay away from this. And this stuff works. We've been using it for a couple of years and it works. Now in the fall, and we'll probably show you this on a video, before the deer start removing the velvet from their antlers on the trees, we'll actually put tree cages around here, and you can see several out here. Those are around maples and red buds that we lost a lot of the growth on that last spring because we didn't have the cages up in time. But we put the cages up, and that protected them from the deer for the rest of the spring through the summer, and then from the rut in the fall. So if you're gonna take the time and make the effort to plant a tree, protect it from the deer if you have deer in your area. Now I'm gonna go through and plant all these, but we're not gonna show you that. That would take a lot of time. But I wanna point out two things. I mentioned to you, we're gonna tell you how to get nice, healthy Leyland cypresses for cheap. Okay, here's how we do it. We buy them on Walmart.com, and we're not promoting Walmart. We're just telling you how we do it. We buy these on Walmart.com in December when it's off season. These are typically $30. You can buy these in the month of December on Walmart.com for $12.99 or $13.99, something like that. So we got 15 of this size for this year to plant out for just a couple $100, whatever it comes out to be. But if you buy them in the spring when it's planting season, you're going to pay $30 to $40. So what we do is we buy them in December, and we leave them inside the house close to the windows and just water them all winter. And then we wait until March when we know the ground has been thawed out for several weeks in our area. And then we put them into the ground, and we save hundreds of dollars doing that. Now, number two, if you want them for free, find a neighbor that has a Leyland cypress, or let's say you have one big one in your yard, which we do. Up by our house, we have a huge Leyland cypress. It's about 20 feet tall. Now, you can graft or grow your own through a process called cuttings, where you actually go through and cut part of these off and prepare them. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. No, it's okay, hon. Stay there at the same angle. I'll just pull this out. We prepared these cuttings about a month ago. They're about 6 or 8 weeks away from really rooting enough to where we can transfer these into the pots. Here's my pot. And then in about a year to 18 months, they'll be this size, and then we can plant them somewhere else on our property. Now, if you want to know specifically how to do that, here's how you can learn. If you look in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen right now while you're watching this video, you're going to see a little box down there that says join us. Hover your arrow over that and you'll see a red rectangle pop up that says subscribe. Click on that to subscribe to our channel. Go to our channel's video collection and scroll down, and you'll see a video called how to grow Leyland cypresses from cuttings. It's maybe from this video, maybe a dozen videos down, but it's about an 8-minute long video where we show you step by step how to do this. So that way you'll have free trees, again, if you're willing to wait a year to 18 months to get them. We actually prepared 600 of these cuttings this winter, so you'll want to check that out. And it really is that simple. If you want to grow a privacy hedge, it's easy. You can get them for cheap if you buy them off season, for probably other places other than just Walmart, or you can grow your own through cuttings. So I want to thank you for joining us for another video from Homesteading Off the Grid. If you learned something today, please subscribe to our channel. And always remember, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time to plant a tree is today.